Yeah, it's what you're hearing. It's what you're hearing. Listen, it's what you're hearing. Listen, it's what you're hearing. Listen.
You're watching the Western Athletic Conference on ESPN. Welcome to Abilene, Texas on this Tuesday night in the brand new Moody Coliseum. This crosstown showdown tonight, Division III's McMurry up against the hometown Abilene Christian. And now welcome courtside, everybody. Zach Carlisle with Joseph Chapa, Coy Oslin coming up in just a moment as well. Well, non-conference matchup, non-D1 game for Abilene Christian here today, 1-1 on the season, and these Wildcats coming off of a loss to Texas A&M.
Well, Coach Brett Tanner says it best that these non-conference games are to make them better every single day. They got a Vegas tournament coming up, and of course, you want to get better for January through March.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the Wildcats in game number 3. Game number 3 for McMurry as well. McMurry comes in 0-2 and a chance to really get better coming on the road against the D1 team tonight.
Well, you know, iron sharpens iron, and McMurry has proven that they can be a dogfight every single game, and that's exactly what this crosstown rivalry game is going to be here in Moody Coliseum.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. These are two teams that are really close together here in Abilene. For more on that, let's send it over to Coy Oslin.
Guys, you rarely ever see a warm-up game with as much history as McMurry and Abilene Christian. These games are usually used for D3, NAIA, D2, and D1 schools to get some tests against some smaller schools. These two teams faced off for the first time in 1930, and with a 43-year gap between playing after the 1970s, it picked back up in 2018. Now, there's a chance for this team to continue their long tradition of playing each other in Moody Coliseum. Guys?
Coy, thank you very much. And they're wrapping up the starting lineups here as ACU gets ready for McMurry, who comes in from the middle of town up to the northeast side of Abilene. And Joseph, I'm excited about this one. I love it when these two teams can get together. I mean, when you're so close in proximity, it's nice that they can play on an annual basis.
Well, tonight makes it extremely special. Yes, they played last year and years before, but if this is in the newly renovated Moody Coliseum that all Abilene, Texas citizens can enjoy, this is going to be a great crosstown rivalry match here tonight.
McMurray at 0-2. Two really close games this season, 89-87 and a 5-point loss in overtime. ACU 1-1. Away we go. McMurray wins the opening tap. And they're starting 5. CJ LeBlanc, the junior guard out of Dallas Minor. Garcia as well. See Andrew Stevenson, the sophomore at 6'7" as well, and Matt Pena. They're the starting 5 for the Warhawks. An opening kick as you see the ACU starters. Damian Daniels, that 5th-year senior at the guard spot. Cameron Steele inside. Tobias Cameron, the 6th year. Arion Simmons, leading scorer this year, and Emmanuel Allen as well. First touch for McMurray. They nearly gave it away a couple of times. It'll stay at this end, 12 to shoot for the Warhawks.
We saw during the first game last Monday, the newly renovated Moody Coliseum opener for the Wildcats, Arion Simmons, came out with authority. It looks like he's coming out with the same aggression here on the defensive end.
McMurray, they're going to be undersized all night. Going to have to figure out a way at this end of the floor to try to score the ball a little bit, an early turnover. Brett Tanner, 2nd-year head coach. Boy, did he have a pretty good year, number 1, 25 wins.
Well, absolutely, and it shows that the team behind him really rallies around him. You know, this is not only do the athletics want him, but also his team wants him. They kind of set that culture tone of family, and Brett Tanner does a really good job of that here in the 2nd year.
Arion Simmons denied in the paint, and now out of bounds was Emmanuel Allen of ACU, and the Wildcats will give it away. On the other side, Zach Pickelman, 8th year with McMurray. A Hardin-Simmons graduate. The 3rd school in this trio of colleges in Abilene comes over to McMurray. And he's in year number 8. A 3 no good for the Warhawks. They're going to want to hit some of those tonight. ACU's 2nd possession. Simmons, little tough fadeaway. Nothing doing.
We touched on Coach Zach Pickleman for McMurray, and if there's anyone that knows this town better, it's him, and he knows what it takes to win here in Abilene.
How about a deep three? Matt Pena, the sophomore out of El Paso. That was an extra step out there.
And what it's going to take here tonight against the Wildcats is shoot the ball really well. McMurray is really underrated out on the perimeter.
ACU to the paint for Cameron Steele, the junior out of Minnesota. They would love to get an interior game going tonight.
But we talk about winning formulas, and that's how you do it. Cameron Steele, the junior forward out of Minnesota, and he knows what it takes to be aggressive down low.
This is what ACU does best. They take the ball away, and they score in transition. Emmanuel Allen that time.
You know, you hear from basketball coaches, all right, we want to force turnovers, but Coach Brett Tanner says we want 20-plus forced turnovers. You don't really hear that often in the NCAA, but Coach Tanner, man, he's a mad scientist here for the Wildcats. Last season's best defense in the country.
And he said, you know what, we didn't win at Texas A&M because we didn't force 20. They forced 19.
One shy.
And came up short. He credits that as a big reason why. A drive in, Daniels. They're going to extra pass it all day long. Now Simmons, he'll take it to the dish. Coming off a 15-point effort against Texas A&M on Friday. Gets in the scoring column tonight.
And how that play started was point guard penetration. When you have a guy like Damian Daniels, you call him a slithery finisher, get in the paint and create shots for others, that's hard to beat if you're McMurray.
Oh, tough off the window. A little runner from Andrew Stevenson, who's only played in 13 career games as a COVID sophomore. Looked really smooth there. Backdoor Simmons again.
I mean, there's just nothing like it, Zach. That's textbook right there. And for a guy like Arian Simmons, yes, he's really great with the ball in his hands. But off the ball, you talk about how to separate yourself here in the Western Athletic Conference. You got to be good off the ball.
Oh, Remy Minor tried to fire one back across, and it was picked off by Tobias Cameron. Already turnover number 3 for McMurray. Daniels, they'll extra pass it. Simmons has the hot hand. His first 3 is no good. Rebound hold in by Stevenson. We mentioned it, McMurray, a couple of early losses, both right there at home to Schreiner, 89-87, and then an overtime defeat as they give it away by 5 to Texas Lutheran. ACU coming off that loss as well. And this is a foul. Our first of the game. It's on Emmanuel Allen.
Right here, that drive and kick, and again, it started with Damian Daniels penetrating down the middle. If you're Coach Zach Pickleman for McMurray, you got to preach this no middle defense. Force the point guards, force the wings to drive from the baseline and get those shots to your shot blockers to contest.
The Wildcats coming off of a 77-58 loss at Texas A&M, who's been receiving votes early in the season. In the top 25, the Aggies out of College Station. Jumper no good from CJ LeBlanc. ACU was down 5 at halftime in that game, but then had a tough start to the second half and ended up falling by double digits. Here is Uat Guy, big number 34 for Abilene Christian. Jay-Sean Jackson off the bench. Jumper no good. Tobias Cameron can't get the putback, but it's a foul. It's an early timeout. Abilene Christian an 8-5 lead and a little crosstown showdown in Abilene, Texas. Back here in Moody Coliseum, an early 8-5 lead for Abilene Christian. And it was a foul prior to the timeout, so Tobias Cameron will be shooting free throws for the Wildcats. It was a foul on Elias Garcia, number 13 for the Warhawks. Cameron, sixth-year senior, good on the first one. Time for our keys to the game, brought to you by your Greater Texas Ford dealers.
Zach, let's start with McMurray. You got to fight for all 40 minutes here in this ball game. Remy Minor leads the way, averaging 18 points per game so far this season. And you got to do that by getting to the foul line. We talked about Abilene Christian, 20-plus forced turnovers. We talked about that a few minutes ago. Strong second half start. They didn't have that against Texas A&M last weekend. You want to fix that if you're ACU. And of course, everyone gets a slice of the pie. It's Thanksgiving. Move the ball around. Share the sugar.
A little more than a week away from that holiday. CJ LeBlanc buries one from the outside. to make it a 10-8 game. Couple of early threes for McMurry. They're going to want to hit a bunch of them tonight. Could be hard, though. They're going to be undersized at that guard spot as well. A takeaway at this end. KCU to Lisa takes it away. Now LeBlanc, nice handles. Able to get it in to TJ Hilliard, and then a foul after the miss and rebound. Not sure who they got that on. And it's on Hilliard for the Warhawks. Let's see if we can take another peek at this.
Right here, that's a great pass. Maybe too much of a lead, but right there, looks like a little offensive foul off of that left block. Again, you like the aggression that McMurray is coming out in this ball game. That's one way to swing momentum here in Moody Coliseum.
So, free throw for ACU, and Hunter Jack Madden is no good, so couldn't take advantage of that intentional foul, and so it'll be ACU basketball after that strange sequence of events. Nonetheless, it's the Wildcats who will have it, and we're back to where we were. 10-8 game. 4 subs for Abilene Christian out there on the floor. Ali Deba's got it here, the Chicago State transfer, and now 3 seconds in the lane on the Wildcats and a turnover.
3-second violation called on the Wildcats. It'll be McMurray.
Great defensive strategy coming out the gate for Coach Zach Pickelman. Again, you want to use your aggressiveness to your advantage. Yes, you're undersized, but when you feed it to a guy for ACU like you odd guy, you want to dig, double team in the post, force him to kick it out, and you get those careless turnovers right there, like a 3 in the key.
Offensive set, Elias Garcia, the 3rd triple early on here for the Warhawks. They go in front by 1.
Capitalizing on your open looks. You don't want to have a game where you say, oh, we just didn't hit our shots. Looks like McMurray's coming out hot right out the gate here against ACU.
Hunter Jack Madden to the baseline. There's Simmons. That's an and 1.
Simmons with the and 1.
The best player for ACU gets the hoop and the harm.
Well, in the preseason shows, the Western Athletic Conference kind of gave him the label of the Draymond Green of the WAC, and he's showcasing it right there, just a bulldozer to the rim. It's going to be hard for any team in the conference and the non-conference to guard him when he's going downhill right there in the paint.
ACU making a wholesale change. 4 starters back in. They're going to go with their starting lineup after Simmons gets the and 1, and already 7 of the 13 points for ACU have come from number 23. McMurray's off to a good start at this end, trying to add to it. The floater, C.J. LeBlanc.
C.J. LeBlanc.
Junior out of Dallas. In his 4th year with the program. Fronted and stolen. That's Udalisa taking it away. Very impressed by this start from McMurray. Garcia has a 3-pointer. He's got it. Had 11 last time out against Texas Lutheran. Loose ball, a whistle. Foul on ACU. Let's go back to the last basket for the Warhawks.
Well, right here, Zach, my high school coach would always tell me, when you're a guard, it's going to be death, taxes, and wide open threes. You got to be able to hit those catch and shoot looks here in college basketball, and McMurray is doing just that here against one of the best defenses in the Western Athletic Conference.
Simmons with the steal. Daniels tries to run. He is fouled. He'll shoot 2. And the offense just stems from that, doesn't it? I mean, ACU would rather rely on getting those takeaways and getting those out in transition than running a half-court set. That is their bread and butter at this end of the floor.
Exactly, because not only for ACU do you increase, your scoring column on the scoreboard, but you also excite your defense. You say, okay, we want more, all right? You're feeding the beast of Coach Tanner's defense, and it also affects you in the half-court offense. Your confidence gets boosted. Shots start falling. Just an all-around good tactic for Coach Tanner and his Wildcats.
Daniels 1 out of 2. This is loose. Should be a jump ball. Arrow stays with the Wildcats. And I think a lot of people have, if there's any question at all about ACU, it is offensively, not defensively. We know what this program is. they are going to wonder if they have to go in the half court, who's going to be those guys that step up. That's one of them, Arion Simmons.
Yeah, and those actions right there, textbook backdoor cuts. Again, you want to keep running those consistent actions to get a guy like Arion Simmons going. And of course, when the defense adjusts, how will ACU switch to that, where you can give a guy the ball like Arion Simmons and let him work?
Double dribble there on Elias Garcia. And for Simmons, he's playing in his 97th career game, nearing 800 points for his career.
Well, he knows how to use his size and recognizing that McMurry, yes, is undersized, but they are aggressive, and how you do that is you seal down low, and Arion Simmons did a great job of that, getting nice touch around the rim for a finish.
Inside it is Tobias Cameron. A little bit of an awkward to go down there and get it, but he's able to convert.
Well, the play doesn't stop, and Tobias Cameron's really had two good outings against Jackson State, and of course Texas A&M really wants to continue that streak here for the Wildcats.
On a drive and a bump, this will be on Leonardo Bettiol of ACU, as Elias Garcia was taking it on the move. And I love the aggressiveness of McMurry offensively, because they've been able to get it into the paint, and then they can kick it out and get some looks here from the three-point line.
Yeah, exactly, Zach, and that's how you throw off a team like ACU. Texas A&M did a good job of that in College Station. That looks like going to be the recipe for a win for McMurry.
Foul. Arion Simmons thought he took the ball away, and instead it's a foul on Simmons. His second foul here, less than 8 minutes in. Simmons may have to leave the game. He got in foul trouble at Texas A&M Friday night as well. Ali Dibba checks in. LeBlanc, really special with the ball in his hands. Garcia, that is so smooth. What a shot.
You can't teach that, Zach. When a shooter like Elias Garcia at his size and his frame has got a sweet jump shot touch like that, it's just hard to teach. It's also hard to guard.
McMurray down just 3. Allen walked with it. Timeout on the floor. McMurray's in it. Playing really well on the road so far. 3-point difference. 3-point game. McMurray hanging in here on the road, as we say, across town a little bit. Take a look at the preseason poll for the American Southwest Conference Division III, where McMurray is picked 7th. Mary, Hardin, Baylor, Juggernaut, Laterno as well. And it's a good league. Hardin Simmons, the Abilene team, picked 3rd in that preseason coaches poll. It's a good division there and a good conference.
It absolutely is. And for Coach Zach Pickelman from McMurray, he tries to use every little piece of data, every little piece of storyline to his advantage to motivate his team. He's known as a motivator in the locker room, and so far that's paying his dividends here against ACU.
Out of bounds off of McMurray, and their turnover. It is their 6th. Both teams had 5 through the first 8.5 minutes. JVC checks in for Abilene Christian, freshman out of Oklahoma. Well, so far, McMurray's really showing a lot of good stuff at both ends of the floor.
Well, absolutely. They've proven in their first 2 games, despite the losses, that they can hang with any team here in the country. And right now they're doing it here against ACU, one of the best defenses in the country, but also really underrated offense.
Emmanuel Allen offline on that 3-pointer. He is top 3 in ACU's Division I history and career 3-point percentage at almost 50%. That is a charge. It rolled around and in on the shot for TJ Hilliard, but it is an offensive foul, his 2nd foul of the game.
Well, here's how you break it down, Zach. It just takes a special athlete to pull that off against those really strong guys down in the paint.
I will say the turnover's starting to add up a little bit. That's 4 in the last 2 minutes and 47 seconds for McMurray. Ja'Shawn Jackson running point for the Wildcats. Foul as they got it into Leonardo Bettiol, redshirt freshman out of Italy, number 3. Jackson inbounds it. Execute pretty well there off the inbound. Ali Dibba, he is fouled. All right, let's talk more about these amenities here in Moody. Let's send it over to Coy.
Zach, as we've said over and over again, this is a new era of basketball for ACU with the renovation of Moody Coliseum. Along with that, athletics introduced the students to many new traditions for the student section throughout games. But to their surprise, there's been a lot of talk on campus and in athletics about the students coming up with their own traditions, such as crowding the front railing of the student section to better jeer the opposing team's bench and give the Wildcats that much more of an advantage. Guys?
Coy, thank you. Yeah, this student section has been electric these first few nights as we open this basketball season. And that's just been something that they've missed these last couple of years, being over in the Teague Center during these renovations. That's an element that really adds a dimension here at Moody Coliseum.
And Coach Tanner made a deal with them. He said, hey, if we get 500 students a game, I'm going to feed you guys. First 500 students get a free Chick-fil-A sandwich tonight.
Ali Dibba. A thunderous moment to rock the student section. Watch this, brings the house down.
We call this a coast to coast. It takes a special kind of athlete. We were talking about Brett Tanner feeding the students Chick-fil-A sandwiches. Well, I can tell you, Ali Dibba does have a great diet, and that's how you get up there in the rim. It takes a special type of guy to have a really good verticality, cock the ball back, boom, and slam it, and get the crowd roaring here at Moody Coliseum.
JVC nearly got that turnover as well. There you go. Here's the inbound. you get a live look in right there at what the inbound looked like, and you're also looking at who Remy Minor could not see on the inbound. Timeout was called there by McMurry. That kind of felt like putting on the virtual headset, you know, to be able to see what was going on there. 6-point lead for Abilene Christian halfway through this first half. How about the WAC preseason poll? ACU picked 4th after getting to the WAC championship game last year.
Zach, similar to Coach Pickleman, Coach Brett Tanner, said during his first press conferences heading in the month of November for their season opener, numbers, data, I'm just going to use it all for motivation, man. He knows that the Western Athletic Conference, he said it time and time again, one of the best mid-major conferences in all of basketball. And Coach Tanner and his Wildcats are using it to their motivation to prove here in the non-conference schedule that they can hang in the months of January and March.
Yeah, and Grand Canyon lost in the semifinal game to New Mexico State last year in WAC Vegas. Jumper no good from Remy Minor. Second chance for McMurray. And they were picked to win the league. ACU, the WAC tourney runner-ups, picked 4th. Off the fake, Rob Charles, the junior guard out of Houston. Minor, he's blocked by Cameron. There's that size advantage for ACU. Cameron trying to do it himself, no good. Now McMurray at this end. It's a blocking foul, and that's an and one for Rob Charles. Cameron couldn't do it at this end. Charles could, and he's got a chance at a three-point play.
ACU has their charge wall, where so does McMurray. You notice here, it's just one-on-one in the paint. You got to attack. Coach Zach Pickleman preaches it all the time. Attack on those one-on-one driving lanes, especially when you have a good angle at the rim. And if you get an and one, man, it's just a cherry on top.
A little bit of a smile there from Zach Pickleman. Liked what he saw from Rob Charles, playing in his 51st career game at McMurray tonight. Gets the and one to make it a three-point game. Warhawks have been very impressive. Bettiol, nice powerful move inside. First points of the career of Leonardo Bettiol. He finally gets on the scoring column there for ACU. Now a little bit of blood. Looked like caught in the nose was Casey Udalisa. He leaves the game. Andrew Stevenson back in for McMurray.
What a moment that was. Again, you talk about the work that Leo Bettiol has put in the offseason, and you talk about improving your IQ. That's how you get on the floor for the Wildcats. Defense, hustling, and he's put in the work offseason, and there you go, his first career points for the ACU.
That floater from the lefty Hilliard missed everything. Bettiol subs out. Simmons back in. Remember, with those two fouls, but he's got a team-high 9 points. He's been the offense these last couple of games for ACU. He is the leading scorer this season for the Wildcats. Jackson open for three. First triple tonight for ACU. Took a while.
It did, and you know, the element for a guard like Ja'Shawn Jackson, Coach Tanner talks about it, he's really good in the mid-range, he's really good with the ball in his hands, but if he can add that consistent perimeter jump shot to his game, man, what an electric offensive component that can be for Abilene Christian.
Simmons about to go. He might have been out of control. Yep, that's a charge, and that is foul number 3 on Arion Simmons. Back-to-back games in foul trouble for Simmons. And he will leave the game. Cameron Steele back in for ACU. Allen returns too. You can see the frustrated Simmons taking a seat now for the Wildcats. 8-point ACU lead. Minor kind of launches a 3 off the backboard, no good.
Well, while it is frustrating for ACU, if you're McMurry, you got to use this time to your advantage. Arion Simmons, arguably Abilene Christian's best player, is on the floor. Use it to your advantage. Get points, get stops.
Who's that off of? That's out of bounds. It'll stay at this end for McMurry. Abilene Christian made 6 of their last 8, and they lead by 8 at home.
Our early leaders sought a new campus on which to build a better future. Surely they could not have imagined how much their vision would grow. Today, Abilene Christian is recognized in national benchmarks for student success outcomes, research productivity, and athletic accomplishments. As we embark on next steps, we are uniquely poised to become one of the nation's premier Christian universities. We invite you to join us. We will climb higher together.
As a single mom and a full-time nursing assistant, I knew going back to school could be a challenge. But ACU made online school easy for me. From the start, I felt safe, supported, and even comforted by the faculty. With their encouragement and help, I'm getting my degree in healthcare administration and showing my girls they can overcome any obstacle and dare to achieve their dreams, just like their mom.
Pursue your undergraduate or graduate degree online at Abilene Christian University.
For years, I trained to be the best linebacker on the field. That drive made me a top performer at the NFL Combine, and I played 5 seasons in the NFL. Now I'm working toward another dream, building my own business, training athletes to help improve their performance. I want to be the best businessman I can, so I'm getting my MBA at ACU.
Get your degree online at acu.edu.
Back in Abilene, this 8-point lead for Abilene Christian. Tuesdays on ESPN Plus, get in-depth coverage of all things Abilene Christian men's basketball. It's the Brett Tanner Show, presented by ACU TV, every Tuesday at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central on ESPN Plus and the ESPN app. McMurry on the road. Good showing here for these Warhawks, down by just 8. Now a deflection out of bounds, and it'll stay at this end. Joseph, what has impressed you the most about McMurry here so far in this first half?
Well, it's the aggressiveness, and if you're McMurry coming out early, setting the tone here in a hostile environment, yes, you know, it is Abilene, so it might be an asterisk home game for McMurry, but you want to let ACU know, hey, man, this is going to be a dogfight just like our first 2 games.
Definitely not a home game. Now, it's not a close, not a long trip, but they can feel this road environment here without a question. It's a good showing tonight. Jumper no good. ACU, 6 of their last 8 shots they've made. Starting to figure it out a little bit offensively. Jackson on the move. Daniels is open for 3. And Damian Daniels has his first 3-pointer of the season.
Well, Zach, what's really worked here for ACU is the dribble drive. It's very simple. Dribble, draw two, and kick it out, and you got shooters like Damian Daniels to knock down those shots.
It's an 8-0 run for ACU. That jumper no good from Stevenson. In the last 2 minutes now for the Wildcats have started to take over. 11 point lead. 18 points for McMurray. There's Jackson getting the defender in the air and finishing. Timeout, McMurray.
Timeout, McMurray.
Now the Wildcats starting to take over and assert themselves here.
Seems like that first three by Damian Daniels really shifted the tide and the momentum for the offensive consistency for the Wildcats. Well, here we go, Jayshawn Jackson lets him play hopscotch right there, gets him up in the air, and that's just really fundamentally footwork, and that's what Jayshawn Jackson and the guards on ACU really hang their hats on, is the fundamentals. It's something very basic, but you get him up in the air with a nice pump fake like that, you play 5-on-4 basketball, and anything's possible in the half-court setting.
So 6.5 to play. It's a 10-0 burst here for the Wildcats in the last 2.5. And a almost 3-minute scoring drought here for McMurray. You figured there was going to be one of these runs here in this first half, and we're right in the middle of it right now. Remy Minor trying to run point. The 5'8" senior out of Chicago. We've seen this jumper a couple of times from Garcia. No good on that one. 63% shooting in the first half for ACU. Getting some quality looks. Jackson, another quality take, and he's going to shoot two. Speaking of aggressive, that's been Jayshawn Jackson tonight.
Zach, you just read my mind. Great minds think alike. We talked about aggression all game long. I think we're going to keep going to heading to the second half. Jayshawn Jackson, sophomore guard, learning under guys like Damian Daniels, Tobias Cameron, Emmanuel Allen, list goes on and on. If he could be aggressive, time in and time out in the half-court setting for ACU, and the possibilities are endless for their scoring here in the half-court setting.
Well, if we're thinking alike, does that mean we've been working together too much?
I believe so. Barely my second year, too.
Jackson at the line. San Antonio, Texas native. Year number 2, scored 6 points in the opener against Jackson State. Been pretty good. Corner three, it's Steele. Splashes it home.
Heading into tonight, Cameron Steele was 1 for 9 from 3. You want to say it's a shooting slump? Well, slumps, you can get out of it. Seems like Cameron Steele is on a good start at getting out of that shooting slump. He's a really signature stretch for the Wildcats.
Allen got his hand on it. Emmanuel Allen, well, and he lost it. 17-point ACU lead. Jackson, short. He thought he got hit. McMurray comes the other way. Here's Minor. And now he lost it. Another turnover, but a walk on ACU.
On the Wildcats, it'll be Warhawks ball.
Both teams give it away.
Number 13.
There has been a little sloppiness at times from both teams. You see a turnover and then the other one gives it right back.
Yeah, you know, you can think about it for both teams coming off of road trips and here on a Tuesday night. Here in the first half, you just got to get the kinks out. You got to relax, stay calm, cool, and collected on defensive end, and just play your game offensively. The ball will come to you.
On a drive, C.J. LeBlanc, and he was fouled. Fouled on JVC. And so this will be free throws here for the Warhawks and LeBlanc. LeBlanc was an all ASC honorable mention last year on the all-conference team. Was the co-freshman of the year a few years ago. He's just really had a nice career for McMurray. He's in his 4th year. We mentioned 3rd season, but he's still listed as a junior. He took advantage of that COVID year. Tell you what, last January he had himself a game. He dropped 42 at Howard Payne. He is quite the player for McMurray. Under 5 to go in the first half, and that free throw dropped the 14-0 run for Abilene Christian. Pull up in the corner, Mo Maneke, no good. Minor, transition look. It's a blocking foul, and it's an and one.
Remy Minor with the and one. Called on the Wildcats.
First points of the game for Remy Minor.
Little deja vu here for ACU. This is the second time a charge attempt turns into a blocking foul and one for McMurray. McMurray's just doing a great job at just staying aggressive, even though they're setting up for a charge. Hey, one-on-one in those driving lanes like we touched on earlier, and the block in the paint, especially in the middle.
Minor's a two-time All-Conference second teamer in the American Southwest Conference, NCAA Division III. Also a very nice career for McMurray. Little zone D here for the Warhawks. Ali Dibba is going to catch and shoot it. Offensive rebound and a foul at this end on McMurray at his 12-point lead for ACU. There's the guys in this studio. And coming up, we'll have our ESPN halftime report. Sawyer Davis, Trey Newhouse, there they are getting ready. We'll be courtside as well down here in Moody with highlights and analysis coming up on the ESPN halftime report. Cameron Steele at the line. We've seen quite the growth from Steele here at ACU in his junior year out of Minnesota. He really has taken steps each year he's been with the Wildcats.
It's only a matter of time. You know, you talked about, I think you just hit it on the nail perfectly, Zach. Steps year after year after year, and Coach Tanner and his coaching staff, and of course the ACU fans in the community are wondering, what step is Cameron Steele going to take this year? The amount of work he's put in the offseason and how close he is with his guys like Tobias Cameron and the crew. It's going to be a really good year for a guy like Cameron Steele.
Yeah, 6'8", can really stretch it out and shoot the long ball as well. That's no good from Matt Pena. Haven't talked about number 21 too much. The sophomore out of El Paso. ACU trying to go on the move. That's Guy. Oh, a good ball movement there. Stripped out of bounds. Stay with the Wildcats. And Hunter Jack Badnell sub in. Timeout on the floor. ACU leads it by 14. Back here in the brand new Moody Coliseum, it's a 14-point Abilene Christian lead on their crosstown counterparts, McMurry University. There's a deer in the student section. I'll have to get somebody on that and find out what that's about.
Looks like, you know, kind of like Russell Wilson says, Wildcat Country, let's ride.
Yeah, I think he said that. Those were his exact words. Ball stacked free out of bounds. Nope, it'll stay. McMurray kept it alive and got the steal. They've hung around here in the first half, have the Warhawks. Now they'll be called for the carry on C.J. LeBlanc. Peek at the ACU bench. Fred Tanner, the head coach. There's Antonio Bostic, top assistant for ACU. Wildcats playing one of their handful of non-Division I games in the non-conference schedule. Hunter Jack Madden, no good on the three. Uot Guy with that rebound. Oh, there's Cameron. That's an and one on the putback. Tobias Cameron's going to like playing here in Moody. He dropped 18 on opening night against Jackson State.
And the Moody Magic is still carrying on right there. Two crash, the offensive glass. Of course, Tobias Cameron gets it. Nice little off the glass finish.
Tobias Cameron, a grad student out of Australia. He's actually about to go play his brother in a game. They're going to be on the same court at the same time when he plays UC Riverside in Las Vegas here next week. So that'll be a really fun moment for him. Family's going to go get to see both of them on the floor.
That's historic. I mean, that's something you hear in a movie or in a story, and be able to do that and live that for Tobias Cameron, it's really a blessing.
Yeah, and what I want to see is like the half Riverside jersey and the half Abilene Christian jersey out there on the floor. Nice transition look for Rob Charles. Able to finish it. 15-point difference here, final 3 minutes of the first.
It's almost like Tobias's parents. I mean, you can't really lose. Someone's going to win.
That's right.
You'll be a fan of either or.
His dad, Peril, was actually on the New Zealand national team in the 2002 Olympics. A lot of basketball blood. A couple of boys playing college hoops in the United States. Pretty cool story there. 2.5 to play. Ali Dibba to the line. And you want to talk about a story. That's Ali Dibba out of Sweden. Had a hard time getting to the United States last year when he was at Chicago State. So he missed the early season due to travel restrictions. And then when he got in, he was playing great, dropped 24 in a game against Seattle U, and then injured his hand and missed the last 12 games of the year. I mean, so to see him come here and have an opportunity and play, pretty cool story here for Abilene Christian.
Absolutely, a full circle moment. I mean, a blessing for a guy like him to play for ACU, for Coach Tanner. I mean, he raves about him. He's been raving about him all offseason long, now playing some quality minutes here in the early rotation as Coach Tanner and his assistants try and figure out what the rotation is going to look like in conference play.
Fade away. LeBlanc wanted a foul, doesn't get it. Transition for the Wildcats. This is that speed of Daniels. Oh, it's picked off by Charles. He's been impressive in this first half. Blocked away. Oh, my.
Gives me Game 6, 2016 NBA Finals flashback, Zach. You know what I'm talking about? LeBron King James coming out from behind to block the shot. I mean, he did it just right there. That was textbook.
You read my mind that time. That's exactly what I was thinking. Travel there. Let's go back to Game 6 of the Finals, right?
Well, really, I mean, the only details that you can break down here is,
wow.
I mean, it's just like a blur across the court. I mean, running full speed, you say, I got it, and you block it. Little LeBron James-esque. The second time we read each other's minds, Zach.
Telling you, we've been working together. We know what's going on. Corner three. It's Matt Pena. He dropped 10 a game ago against Texas Lutheran. Hits a corner one there. And for McMurry, that's their 4th 3 of the half. Just kind of hanging around. Good showing from these Warhawks. Hunter Jack Madden trying to answer, and he does. That's his first 3 as a Wildcat.
ACU works on that drill all the time in practice. It's a skip pass, especially when you're playing against a zone. A 1-3-1 zone, might I add, that I think coaches nowadays think is outdated. But again, to beat a zone, you just pass the ball.
Do we have a foul? No, it's a jump ball. And the arrow will stay with McMurray. Let's go back to the Hunter Jack Madden three-pointer.
Well, again, here, if you're ACU, you're playing against a zone. All the guys on the perimeter have to be ready to catch and shoot. And Hunter Jack Madden was the right guy for the job right there in the strong side corner.
Oh, the spin. Rob Charles drops it home off back iron. 31st half points for these Warhawks. Timeout, Brett Tanner. They'll use their use it or lose it timeout in this first half. Well, I think the 31st half points is a good showing for McMurray. Abilene Christian, meanwhile, a nice offensive outburst, 45 here in this first half.
Yeah, and this is why he called the timeout here. You know McMurray's going to fight. You know they've been in the boxing ring before. They know this isn't their first rodeo. And for Coach Tanner, you know, in football, you ice the kicker. Well, you got to ice a team that's going on a run or can extend their run, especially for a team like McMurray. 4 threes in this ball game. You don't want them to hit any more here with 46 seconds to go here in the first half.
Well, and you know, it's a chance to work on your offense in games like this because that's the part of the team that they really want to gel together. Some new pieces. You got some of the guys back. You're figuring out offensively. ACU scored 65 in the opener, 58 at A&M. This is the game to work on at 45 already here in the first half. Daniels, no one stopping him.
Daniels.
Still a 5-second difference here between the game and shot clock.
And ACU's mounting the pressure here in the half court, trying to get some more forced turnovers here to rack up their lead in the first half.
They had 10 to shoot it. They lost it. ACU should hold for the final shot of the first half. Under 10 seconds. One more look. Daniels, there's steal. He's fouled and one. What a way to close the half.
The foul call on number 13.
right here. Nice penetration by Daniels, and of course Cameron Steele, you know, in his mind, he's gonna look back at this play and says, man, if I had those hops, I would dunk that. That would have been a poster for Cameron Steele. Nonetheless, he gets the job done, utilizing his size and frame and his length to get this and one bucket.
A 50-point half and a 20-point lead at the intermission. Big showing from Abilene Christian. A 50-30 first half lead. It's time for the ESPN Halftime Report. Sawyer and Trey, they are in the studio. Guys, it's all yours.
It's halftime here in Abilene, Texas. I'm Sawyer Davis beside Trey Newhouse here. And Trey, what are your thoughts from the first half of that basketball game?
Well, the Wildcats were dominating the last 10 minutes of that first half. They went on a 14-0 run in 3 minutes of that game, and that is the reason they're up 20.
Going on a 14-0 run, putting them up 20 and 20 going into halftime. When we come back, we'll have a little halftime show, but stick with us. Outside of beautiful Moody Coliseum here on the campus of ACU, 50-30, ACU leads McMurry Warhawks. And we are here for the halftime show. I'm Sawyer Davis alongside Trey Newhouse. And we have just seen a beautiful first half of basketball, I would say. The crosstown rival comes to ACU, the McMurry Warhawks, just down the street here in Abilene. Trey, what are you thinking about this first half of basketball?
Well, you know, Tobias Cameron, he has 7 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists so far this game. I think you could officially put him on triple-double watch.
And now it's time for the first half stats brought to you by First Bank Texas, building strong homes and businesses and friendships since 1880. Trey, look at these first half stats. These numbers are just, what jumps out at you, Trey?
Well, look at that rebound differential. I think that makes all the difference in this game. Abilene Christian with 23 rebounds to McMurray's 9. You can't win a game without the ball. And ACU has been going to get those balls so far in this one.
And really, Trey, I would say, other than the rebound numbers, the shooting numbers have all been the same. ACU and McMurray both have 44% and 50% from 3. And from the field goal percentage, it's 41 and 57. So other than those two numbers, everything has been the same shooting-wise. But I think we should expect a bigger stat line from the second half. And what makes ACU different here is we have students who bring together the ACU broadcast production. And here it is, the feature that we have brought to you by ACU students.
The community at ACU TV is exceptional. I think it's what really sets it apart from other universities and other organizations just on ACU's campus.
Working at ACU TV, I have gotten so much great experience in all different aspects, whether that was just taking on leadership roles or just learning new things and really just jumping in and being hands-on with equipment.
So the first time I walked in here, I was a high school senior, but I walked in and I was blown away by the production and the level of production ACU was putting on. And so to see the amount of effort being poured into a sporting event at ACU on ESPN was huge. And so to see that as a high school senior sold it for me. I was like, yes, I'm going to be at ACU because this is where I want to be. This is where I can excel.
Coming to college and to know that you're making content for ESPN, that's unreal for students to come in and be able to get hands-on experience that quickly. It's a blessing.
I would have never thought that I would be doing things I'm doing now. If you said I was going to be on ESPN Plus and working with professional reporters and seeing all the stuff that goes into that, I would have called you crazy because I didn't think that freshmen got that opportunity. But here at ACU, everyone gets that opportunity, and it's awesome. And I think that's what sets us apart from other universities. At a young age, we allow people to get that experience, and you only get better from there.
Really not a lot of students across the world get to be able to do what we do here at ACU. If you want to be a journalism major, you want to be in sports broadcasting, this is the place for you. But you get the tools of what it's going to be like. You know, you want to work in Fox Sports, ESPN, those major networks one day, this is where you translate it. This is where you get that exact same experience. This is first class.
Halftime here at Moody Coliseum, ACU by 20 as we get ready for the second half here moments away. As we say welcome courtside, everybody, Zach Carlisle and Joseph Chapa. Glad you're with us here on this Tuesday night. Good showing here from really both sides. I think McMurry has a lot to like, their 31st half points, but then Abilene Christian really got things going offensively with a 50-burger.
And Zach, I want to talk about the rebounding battle, 23-9. ACU is winning it big. The rebounds is a huge fundamental part of basketball. If you don't win that, it's going to be hard to win a ball game.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot to like about really both sides here in the first half from a numbers perspective. But Abilene Christian, 57% shooting. And then they got to the free throw line a lot more as well. That's a big advantage. And then you mentioned the rebounding as well.
Staying efficient. That's what Coach Tanner preaches. They're doing that behind the arc, and they're also doing it at the free throw line. Expect for ACU to be more efficient and McMurry to limit those chances for ACU to get some more points on the board.
I mean, Cameron Steele had 10 of those points, and he kind of finished the half with a bang there. But this thing was close for probably 14 of the 20 minutes there. And then you could kind of see ACU pull away there late in that first half.
Yeah, that's what you alluded to earlier, Zach. You're just waiting for a run for either team to really run away with this ball game.
I'm excited to see what the second half has in store as well, because McMurray's going to want to get off to a good start in the first couple of minutes, and one of your keys was the start of the second half for Abilene Christian, so we'll see how that goes as well.
We'll see how it goes, and it all, it starts how you start, really. Start how you start is the way to go if you're McMurray, and of course ACU. You want to put your foot on the gas pedal if you're Coach Tanner for McMurray. You got to rely on your perimeter shots behind the arc to get more points, to get into the swing of things, get in an early rhythm here in the second half.
A 50-30 lead for these two local teams. McMurray literally in the middle of the city of Abilene, the Division III school out of the American Southwest Conference. At 0-2 on the very young season. Abilene Christian 1-1. Northeast side of the city of Abilene. And they have the 20-point lead. Before we get going here in the second half, it's this 20-point lead here for Abilene Christian at 50-30. Before we go in the second half, let's send it over to Coy.
Guys, to everyone's surprise, ACU started this game slowly, at one point only leading by 3 points with 10 minutes left in the first half. However, they found that support from the line, dropping 12 points, and from now on, they've dropped 16 from the bench, guys.
Off we go with the second half. Coy nearly took it on the chin there on the baseline, and that's a foul to get us started 10 seconds in. As Abilene Christian has the ball to start the second half. And knowing Brett Tanner, this will be a point of emphasis as these first 4 minutes, because they have not been very good to start the second half of the first couple of games this year. Good start there, Tobias Cameron in the paint.
Zach, I don't want to get too ahead of myself here, but if you're ACU, especially Tobias Cameron, that's your 9 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. A little triple-double watch for one of the Wildcat members here tonight.
Yes, you do. You want to get ahead of yourself a little bit, don't you? I know you.
Oh, I love my triple-doubles, man.
Rebound JV seat. Transition look. Daniels rising fire.
The pull-up shot, right? It's something that's very fundamental in the game. I've said the fundamental shot all game long, and really that's what ACU has to work on. Zach, you alluded to starting out early in the second half. That's one of the point of emphasis for Coach Tanner. And also, you use these games to work in your basics, right? Get the careless turnovers out, get those sloppy shots out, and really go back to playing ACU basketball.
Andrew Stevenson on that right wing. LeBlanc was really impressive. There's Daniels getting his hand in there. How about at this end? Boy, number one, how important is he to this ACU team?
Very vital, Zach, and it started on that defensive end. Swiper, no swiping, and you get that swipe of a steal coast to coast down the lane. Beautiful penetration, and an interception right there from Damian Daniels.
Here he is again. He gives it away here as it's taken away by Minard, and the foul on Daniels. Tell you what, he's only 5'7", but he just makes so many plays at both ends of the floor. And we've been seeing him for a long time. He's in his 5th year, accepted that COVID senior year out of Kansas City, Missouri. Back to Daniels.
Well, right there, Damian Daniels all game long and really all season long so far. And if you're ACU and, of course, Western Athletic Conference opponents, expect a guard, again, at his size, 5'7", very quick on both ends of the floor, to be slithery and tenacious and crafty around the rim. And that's how you're going to get those easy penetrating finishes for a point guard like him.
Oh, across the court to LeBlanc. A wonderful find by Remy Minor there to flip it all the way on the other side of the floor.
Now 50% from three for McMurray. Again, you're going to want more of those to get back in this ball game and keep fighting.
JVC getting the start in the second half, driving in and scoring his first points as a Wildcat, the freshman out of Oklahoma.
Another good moment for another Wildcat scoring their first career points in the purple and gray uniform.
Ooh, offline was Minor on that long fadeaway. Here's Cameron again. Tough one off the window.
Now that's just weight room, Zach. I mean, you attack the angles, right? Basketball's a game of angles, especially in the driving lanes, but that was just weight room right there from Tobias Cameron.
I don't know if Cameron makes that shot a couple of years ago. You know,
yeah.
His game has just molded and evolved over these last couple of years. He has really been relied upon by this coaching staff here at ACU. Here's Steele. Double-digit first half for Steele. JVC, no good on the three. Oh, nice spin. It's Minor. Then look at this. Daniels goes and takes it away from him. How do you get around number one? There's the feed. Seats blocked, but he's going to shoot two. There's those turnovers adding up. ACU's turned McMurray over 16 times.
Well, it started for McMurray in the half court. What a beautiful spin by Remy Minor. Of course, Damian Daniels disrupted that play. And, of course, Tobias Cameron 2-on-1 transition drill. Every basketball team in the nation practices this. Now JVC to the line to get some free throws.
Edmond, Oklahoma native, was the Oklahoma Gatorade Player of the Year this last year at Edmond Memorial High School. He is built to 6'3", 240. Could be a really nice extra body there, kind of at the 3-4 slot for Abilene Christian. Seed hits two.
And also entering for ACU.
He'll leave good minutes to open the second half for Seat. Leads almost 30 now for the Wildcats.
And for JVC, that was a point of emphasis for the ACU men's basketball coaching staff. Is not only do we want to get guards, but we want to get big guards. And JVC at 6'3", and getting in the weight room, he provides that.
How far out there was that for CJ LeBlanc? My goodness. Wasn't able to convert it. That is Arion Simmons on the attack. And then a foul on Andrew Stevenson.
Foul called on Andrew Stevenson. That's his fourth of the game.
Let's go back to that three-point miss from, well, nope. We're not going to get a look at it from CJ LeBlanc. We'll get a peek at that here in just a moment. Jay-Sean Jackson now off the fake. 5 to shoot it. Back door. It's Allen.
What complements the play of ACU is they got guys like Emmanuel Allen, Arion Simmons, Cameron Steele who can get up there and slam dunk. And of course here in the newly renovated Moody Coliseum, you're going to have a crowd behind you to roar on those slams.
Abilene Christian by 31. 64-33. Abilene Christian, their largest lead of 31, and it happened with authority from Emmanuel Allen.
Emmanuel Allen's really putting in the work on the offseason on his vertical and, of course, his conditioning. I'll tell you what, Zach, these college basketball players don't eat Cane's and Chick-fil-A on the weekends like I do. It takes a special kind of discipline and nutrition to get up there because really that's all it takes. These guys are athletes. You know, you can even argue professional athletes in the collegiate sport that they play in, and be able to slam it down with authority is just what a guy like Emmanuel Allen needs coming off an injury.
You odd guy. There was contact there. Defender went down, but Guy floated up and in. They really expect a lot out of him, the 6'11 senior out of Australia. Ball out of bounds, turnover number 18 for McMurray. Four and a half into half number 2. Abilene Christian 16-3 the lead so far in this period. Pass tapped away. Jackson's going to get a look at it anyway. There's Guy. There he is, and one. That's what 6'11 will do for you.
Well, exactly. And again, if he had that ball back again, I think we would have seen a slam dunk right there. A classic two-hand rim grazer. Again, his size. You send two to crash the offensive glass. He says, give me that, and finishes it for the and one.
So Guy started his career at South Plains College after coming over from Melbourne, Australia. Was a member of the JUCO tournament, NJCAA tournament team that had a #1 ranking. He's in year number 2 with Abilene Christian. A key reserve in the paint for the Wildcats. 3-point play and a lead of 36.
The Guy finally had an offseason to get more familiar, might I add, with the ACU system. And that's what gets you more playing time in a Coach Tanner system that prioritizes defense.
Ball lost in the backcourt, deflected off of Moneke. Number 13 in gray. My goodness, that's way out there. That's the second time we've seen McMurray launch threes. That's Pena. I mean, how far out is this?
Well, Zach, they need 3-pointers, but I didn't know Stephen Curry and his brother were here for McMurray, shooting it down from the parking lot. If you're going to get some threes, you got to hit it from the corner, which McMurray has done a good job of. They're known to be an efficient perimeter shooting team. They just got to get better looks.
Yeah, that's just too far. That is Hunter Jack Madden trying to line one up from straight away. Left wing. Short from Aaron Ramos, another El Paso native, sophomore. Playing in his first game here for the Warhawks. Moneke thought about it. Backdoor, nice feed to Tiba.
Well, how many times have we seen that in all games, Zach? Textbook backdoor cut, you take advantage. Basketball, really all sports is a numbers game. You trade advantages, right? Kind of like in chess, 2-on-1. It's a game of chess out here in basketball, and ACU has been winning at it here against McMurray so far.
That is offline from Cole Verdadero, the freshman out of Euless. Oh, Cameron Steele. They're going to need him to get going. He's been off to a rough shooting start this year, coming in 11% from 3, but he's hit 2 in 2 tries tonight.
Well, breaking news for ACU, Cameron Steele has found his touch, and what an asset he would be out in the perimeter. Not only can he get it done down low, but if he gets his corner 3 and, of course, his outside 3 going, man, possibilities are endless for this ACU half-court offense that is looking for answers this season.
And I think that's what a game like this can do for you. If you're in a shooting slump, you can come in, play these non-conference, a couple of the non-D1s, and you get around, you start to feel a little more confident, and then that leads into the tournament into Vegas, and now you got a guy who's much more confident shooting it from the outside.
Zach, life is all about confidence, man, and no matter what you do, and Cameron Steele, he knows he can get it done on both ends, down low, in the mid-range, out the post-up. He's just got to be more confident from 3, and he's really getting to that higher step that we were alluding to earlier in the ball game about his growth as a player.
By the way, it's an 18-0 run here in 5 minutes for Abilene Christian. Trying to change that, nope. Rob Charles couldn't do so, and now it is a turnover. Charles was a little out of control. Then they tried to one-hand a putback from Verdadero. Abilene Christian by 41, dominating the second half. We're going to get a lot of big minutes for reserve players here for ACU. Just to play together. Steele ready. Nope, does not count. It is 3 seconds in the lane first.
Cameron Steele was ready to sink that three-pointer. That would have been his third one on the night. He's gained some good looks down the perimeter here against the McMurray zone.
Out of bounds is Charles.
Out of bounds on McMurray, it's ACU ball.
ACU shooting 63% from the floor for the game. Just 5 for 12 from the outside. They haven't taken a lot of threes tonight. Ball's taken away. Hunter Jack Madden floated it.
If McMurray can tighten up on those corners, you know, you want to pressure the ball up top, but also tighten up on those corners. That really improved their defensive play.
Open look, no good from Verdadero. Another turnaround, Ramos. Timeout on the floor. It's a 41-point Abilene Christian lead on their home gym here in Moody Coliseum. For WAC basketball. Wildcats are currently on an 18-0 run, and Mo Maneke could not add to that. Off the reverse, that should have been a kick. It's out of bounds, it'll stay with McMurray. I mean, you're talking about a second half that's 24-3 Abilene Christian.
For ACU, you know, you go into halftime, you know McMurray, you know they can put up a heavyweight fight. And in the second half, we talked about it in our halftime bit, Zach, again, you want to emphasize an early good start in the second half. That's something ACU has lacked in the first two ball games, and they're doing it here. They've got the job done here against McMurray so far.
Verdadero trying to buy one from the outside, unable to connect. That's Maneke getting the air. Steele put back. Cameron Steele, 15 points to lead ACU.
What a highlight that would have been by Moneke, and Cameron Steele's there for the insurance layup right there for the putback.
A little mid-range offline from Ramos. McMurray has missed each of their last 12 shot attempts, and they have 5 turnovers in the last 8 minutes, and they haven't scored in the last 8 minutes of game time. There's a turnover taken away by Rob Charles. They just need something to fall, and they won't. Pass picked off. Moneke, no, he missed it. Well, he's had a couple of looks there in transition. Tomorrow morning, join us for WAC women's basketball on ESPN when Abilene Christian hosts the NAIA's University of the Southwest. Tip-off is at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central on ESPN Plus and the ESPN app. Be ready for a lot of noise tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central. There's going to be about 2,000 elementary school kids in the building for the annual kids game. JV seat in transition there for Abilene Christian.
Well, Zach, that's going to be an early birthday present for me tomorrow. What a way to spend turning the big 2-0 with some college hoops. Going to be great to broadcast that ball game here in Moody Coliseum.
Yeah, it should be a whole lot of fun. Women's action here in Moody. Travel there on McMurray, and at this point, you're really just looking for something positive to go their way. It's a 22-0 run. McMurray hasn't scored in 9 minutes of game time.
Well, it's the iron sharpens iron mentality, and you play a team like ACU, who's proven in the college nation, and for McMurray, you want to use these games to keep strengthening your ball club and building your program moving forward in this year.
Missed 3 there from Emmanuel Allen. 45-point difference. Got this McMurray team that has 11 of their 15 players are underclassmen, so still a pretty young group for Zach Pickelman. That 3, no good from A.J. Lopez, the freshman out of Houston. So they're going to learn and grow together throughout the course of the year. Colby Tanner, number 4, into the game for Abilene Christian. There's Bettiol posting up. Leonardo Bettiol, he's got an and one. Feed it to the big fella inside at 6'8".
Zach, in this year, Coach Tanner has guys that he can feed the ball to on the block. He hasn't had that for a few years now, but he's got versatile guys, a group of guys that he can rotate in, get those jump hooks, nice looks down low to get the Wildcats more points.
He played for the Italian national team when he was in high school, came over to ACU last year. They really think he's got a special ceiling. He really is going to elevate over his course of his time at Abilene Christian. Puts ACU into the 80-point plateau. They'll hit season highs in almost all of their categories tonight. 3 games in. Turnover number 24. There's Bettiol at the other end. No. Well, that is going to count. It is a goaltend.
Goaltending called on the Warhawks. The basket is good.
Make it a 26-0 stretch.
And these types of non-conference games, we talked about it all broadcast long. It allows Coach Tanner and, of course, McMurray to play all your guys on the bench and build a confidence for all your players.
A foul landing hard there was Rob Charles. Foul on Allen for ACU. So Charles to the line he goes.
Again, McMurray has done a good job all game at just attacking those driving angles. They're aggressive, right? They can fight against any team here in Abilene and getting to the foul line. For Coach Tanner in the offseason, he said, as good as his ACU defense is, they led the nation in fouls. And you want to, if you're an opposing coach going up against ACU, you want to get the Wildcats in foul trouble. McMurray has done a pretty good job of that so far. Just got to get more of those conversions to fall their way.
That's kind of a double-edged sword. You either can make all the plays and force all the turnovers, or if those whistles don't go your way, that's a nice tap in from Allen. Then you get called for a bunch of fouls, and that's what they saw in their loss on Friday at A&M. A lot of those resulted in free throws, and there was something like 35 free throws for Texas A&M in that ball game. The lead is 50 for Abilene Christian at home in game number 3 of their season, Moody Coliseum. Back here in Moody Coliseum, Abilene Christian in front of McMurray by 50. Hey, Saturday, join us for college football on ESPN. The WAC championship is up for grabs when Stephen F. Austin takes on Abilene Christian. Kickoff at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Central on ESPN Plus and the ESPN app. Quite the big one in Abilene, Texas on Saturday.
Absolutely, Zach. A little changing of the guard here at ACU. What a historic football season for their new program under the new leadership of head football coach Keith Patterson. It's going to be an exciting day for Wildcat Nation.
Yeah, that's a huge one. It's always great when those two get together. In fact, they played a crazy game in Nacogdoches earlier this year.
That was a thriller.
The winner of the game wins the WAC championship in the regular season. Wrapping up this Tuesday night, final 7.5 minutes. This is Rob Charles, the junior out of Houston. We mentioned him a couple of times tonight. I don't know if that was some sort of violation. No good on that first free throw. It snapped a huge run, though, just getting points. That ended a 28-0 run by Abilene Christian in over 10.5 minutes here in the second half.
ACU has done a good job defensively at neutralizing the backcourt play of McMurray. Heading into this ball game and really this season outlook for McMurray, they got some really good guards out in the backcourt. Of course, Jeremy Minor and Rob Charles leading the way. ACU has done a good job at limiting their points and their impact here in this ball game.
Hunter Jack Madden 3 to shoot it. Going to fade away. Did get the front iron. McMurray, well, it's a shot clock violation. Looked like the ball hit the rim and McMurray was going to have a chance for a clear out, but they called it a violation.
Shot clock violation on the Wildcats. It'll be Warhawk ball.
So McMurry gets it back. As they try to get back to the ASC, American Southwest Conference Tournament, the postseason tournament. Last year, they lost to crosstown rival Hardin-Simmons in that opening round there after finishing 7-11 in league play. So they're hoping to get back there in consecutive seasons. Lost to them over there in Belton, Texas in that first round, 10-point defeat. And that, you know, there was a couple of years in a row they didn't make the tournament, didn't qualify for it back-to-back years, but Zach Pickelman likes this group this season here in Abilene.
Yeah, he's got some good puzzle pieces to work with. And again, the first 2 games, and even tonight against ACU, it's learning curves. I know it's kind of cliche to say, but it really is for a program like his. Yeah,
you know, that's what November is. You're looking for a couple of nice wins in the non-conference, but then you're really prepping. And at the Division III, Division II level, your conference season starts early. December 1st, league play starts. It's usually right around Thanksgiving, so you only get kind of a month to learn, you know, with the new guys before the games really matter. Meanwhile, you know, then you get the other, December's also a non-conference month at the Division I level, so you get the first couple of months to learn your team before the games count at this level.
And Zach, we know that time flies by fast, and for both programs, you got to use these non-conference games to your advantage. So like you said, to learn, test things out, figure out your rotation, figure out new game plans, new offensive and defensive schemes. I think both teams have shown that tonight.
Some good minutes here for the guys off the bench for the Wildcats. Hunter Jack Matt, a nice catch, a little bobble there, but he's able to score it off the nice feed from Dibba. Brett Tanner mentioned to us they needed this game because they've got a little wait here. They don't play till next Monday at that Vegas tournament. They'll leave this weekend. But to have a nice little game, to get loose and to get up and down the floor and just test some new pieces. It's really good to have this game here this week before they head on the road to Vegas next week for Thanksgiving.
Well, it's something you want your home crowd to be excited and to hold on to before you don't see them until after Thanksgiving, headed into the month of December. So for Coach Tanner, again, this was a big game for them. Battle of the city of Abilene, if you will, and ACU has been really one-sided at this affair.
What's your Thanksgiving plans?
Well, I'll be going back home for the Rio Grande Valley. It's a 8-hour drive, but it's hot down there, man. It's a really change of temperature, so my allergies might come bite me when I come back to Abilene.
I know. We've had some weirdly cold weather here. There's Ali Dibba. Nice take. And there you go. There's a field goal to break the stretch of misses from the field for Rob Charles. That snapped an 0 for 14 streak of shooting from the floor.
And here it is again. ACU has done a good job of just moving the ball on top of the perimeter. And I mean, you got guys that are really lengthy and can get to the rim and have a nice touch. Again, it's really been the formula for success here for the Wildcats.
Momaneke, no. We've got Aiden Parra, number 12, and then AJ Lopez, number 5, out there on the floor. That's Lopez, no good. The Houston product. You got Parra, the kid out of Virginia, wearing number 12. Hunter Jack Madden, there's Dibba again. Boy, he's shown a lot of athleticism.
The definition of insanity, Zach, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. If you're McMurray, ACU has really paid its dividends on those backdoor cuts. I'd say 10-plus points off of those textbook cuts to get those points on the board.
Under 5 to go This non-conference tune-up for Abilene Christian. It's Guy, no, but Maneke gets his scoring started for the freshman. First points of his career. Just feels good to score for the first time. Kind of gets that monkey off your back. That's a corner three, Elijah Lomas.
Got to give McMurry credit. They're not afraid to shoot the ball, even if it is a hand in their face. You know what they say, hand down, man down. McMurry, a really good perimeter shooting team. If they can harp on that going forward, heading into league play, it's going to be a really dangerous team in their division.
Dibba, Euro.
Ali Dibba.
Manu Ginobili-esque right there. Zach, I know we were thinking the same exact thing. Again, a lot of fundamental, good, basic play here for the Wildcats. Something you want to hone down and buckle down on before you head into the Vegas tournament in the coming week.
Manu I love just because he was left-handed. Drive to the paint there. We got a foul. 3.5 to go. Wrapping it up from Abilene. ACU 94 points. The outside of Moody Coliseum on this Tuesday night. 52-point lead. There's the crew inside the ACU TV studio. There's a control room. Hutton Harris, Tom Searle, and the ACU TV student run gang behind the scenes. Making this production happen here tonight and all season long. Free throws for TJ Hilliard. What is coming up for McMurry, Austin College on the road. Boy, this is a stretch of 4 straight on the road. Trinity and then Southwestern as well. And then they will open up ASC play with East Texas Baptist on December the 1st.
Little Lone Star State stretch for McMurry. And again, we talked about it. You use these first non-conference games, these early games in November, to figure out your rotation and see what your team is like. And again, if McMurry can really hone in on their perimeter shooting, they'd be a dangerous team going forward.
Colby Tanner, no good. Oh, there's the put-back flush, UWAT guy.
Well, the point of emphasis, one of them for ACU was a crashed offensive glass. Not only do you want to win the rebounding battle on the defensive end, but also offensively to create more second chance opportunities for your team.
This place is going crazy, not for the dunk, but because of who just checked in. The NCAA tournament hero, Joe Pleasant, makes his debut tonight as he came off of a back and head injury. Oh, Guy is having fun out there denying it. But Joe Pleasant, welcome back to Abilene Christian after a year off at Wichita State. His last time on the floor was in an NCAA tournament game against UCLA 2 seasons ago. Hunter Jack Madden on the move. Takes it in for 2 for ACU.
And for Joe Pleasant, man, you got to feel very confident. You check into this ball game and the entire new Moody Coliseum cheers for your name. It's going to be interesting to see if he gets some points on the board with 2 minutes left in this game.
He's out there defending pretty hard. They thought maybe. They weren't sure if he'd be cleared enough to play tonight, but it all depended on how he was going to feel. They figured, get him a couple of minutes. That's a goaltend. And they wanted to see if they could get him back for what's coming up. It's the Vegas 4 tournament there in Las Vegas. Wright State, Weber State, and UC Riverside. That should be a fun 3 days in a row up there in Las Vegas before wrapping up Thanksgiving weekend with Northern Arizona. It's a 100 burger tonight for ACU. For more on that WAC Vegas, or really the Vegas tournament, not part of the WAC, but for more on that, let's send it over to Coy.
Guys, next week ACU heads to familiar territory in Las Vegas to compete in the Vegas 4 tournament. The tournament will be 3 days consisting of a round-robin type format featuring opponents such as Weber State, Wright State, and UC Riverside. Though the city may be familiar territory, this will be the first time the Wildcats have faced Wright and Weber State. But to add to the excitement, as you mentioned earlier, Zach, ACU guard Tobias Cameron's brother Flynn will be on the court for UC Riverside. All a part of a big Vegas Thanksgiving week that is ahead for the Wildcats, minus the turkey, of course. Guys?
Yeah, that's a happy Thanksgiving, isn't it? Somebody could go get some turkey, I would hope.
Get you some nice Popeyes or see what's out there. And we were talking about our Thanksgiving plans, Zach. And I'm in the Valley, and of course, they're going to Las Vegas to spend Thanksgiving.
There's got to be a buffet around somewhere. That's all I'm saying.
Coach Tanner's got some plans for them.
Free throw good for A.J. Lopez. Yeah, and then they will close their Thanksgiving week out at Northern Arizona as well. So that's a whole week-long trip for the Abilene Christian Wildcats.
I think the past 2 minutes have made me a lot more hungrier for dinner tonight, Zach.
That's right. Hold off on the Thanksgiving feast, though. Wait till next week. 75 seconds. Joe Pleasant's got it. Rifles one to Tanner. Colby Tanner's got points. His collegiate career gets started this year for Abilene Christian.
What an amazing story for Colby Tanner, a walk-on for ACU this year. And again, a lot of great stories here tonight that they get their first points of their collegiate career. It's going to be a huge milestone for them moving forward.
We hope to tell you those stories all throughout the course of this season. Pleasant's diving on the ball, and he's fouled in the process by Zach Holden.
Foul called on the Warhawks, number 15.
45 seconds to go.
That's his first of the game.
102 points tonight for ACU. If that would have been the 7th foul on McMurry, we would have seen Joe Pleasant at the free throw line.
Deja vu to 2021.
Been a sight for sore eyes to see him. Baseline, it's Hunter Jack Madden. He'll shoot.
Now called the number 14, Andrew Stevenson.
A lot to like for these Wildcats here tonight.
Absolutely. Heading into this game, really on the surface level, Coach Tanner said in his press conference on Monday, we just got to play some ACU basketball. And what that entails is turnovers, rebounding, staying grounded, contesting jump shots, and of course, everyone gets a slice of the pie. Of course, I got to throw in another Thanksgiving reference to end off this broadcast. Really great outing for ACU and McMurry as well. Again, learning, building your program. Again, they've proven that they can fight here early on in this season. They want to continue to ride that wave.
Ooh, a little one-hander in the baseline there for Lopez. And that will do it as the final seconds will tick off. Abilene Christian goes to 2-1. McMurray 0-3 on the young season, and this one really doesn't count. It's more of an exhibition style, but the Warhawks come over to the other side of town, and Abilene Christian with a 104-46 win over McMurray. That's a nice tune-up, and ACU's got a lot to like in a lot of different areas.
Well, again, it's a good outing heading into the Vegas tournament, heading into Thanksgiving week. And for both teams, again, it's the battle for the city of Abilene. Good outing here, 104 points in your second game in the newly renovated Moody Coliseum. It's all great all-around performance for Coach Tanner and his Wildcat squad.
How about Cameron Steele tonight for Abilene Christian? He had himself a really nice offensive showing, 15 points, and he had been struggling a little bit to score, so that was big for him here tonight.
Again, he just needed a breakthrough, and tonight was his breakthrough. We know what he can do on both ends on the floor. He was in a little bit of a shooting slump against Jackson State University and Texas A&M, and tonight I think it's safe to say that he broke his slump.
So Cam Steele did himself a really good job, and now there's kind of this. And they're going to go ahead and do their team picture, which is going to be a nightly deal. Brett Tanner said it. He said, I want to get the students down here after every game this year because this place is different, and we are about the people, and this is their team. And so he wants to take a picture with everybody at the end of every game. And so he came up with this post-game selfie with Coach Tanner idea. It's a pretty unique thing, pretty cool thing to see here in Moody each and every night.
Zach, Coach Brett Tanner's really bought into this ACU student body, and man, what type of high character that takes for a college coach like him. March Madness pedigree, and say, hey man, I want to buy in, and I want to love this student body, and I want to thank them for loving us, and he wants to stay consistent in that. Tonight it was Chick-fil-A sandwiches. Let's see what it is next time they have a home game.
And he said, yeah, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to feed you. We're going to get it all. And then he wants to take a selfie with them as well. Get all kinds of folks down here to take their picture. As ACU wins at 104-46. Hey, welcome courtside here as we get ready to wrap it up here from Moody Coliseum. An impressive showing offensively. I think ACU needed to see some of those shots go down. And then we're going to talk to Cameron Steele here in just a moment. He was one of them that just saw the shots fall in tonight. It was big to see it here in game number 3.
Well, in the season opener against Jackson State University, shots weren't falling. They were falling in love with the three-point line. They weren't attacking the paint. Over 50 points in the paint tonight, Zach, against McMurry. It's ACU basketball. That's the only way to explain it here tonight.
Yeah, there's just a lot to like. And more importantly, opportunities for people that don't always get out on the floor. Yeah. These are the games that you get those early minutes. So in case you're needed in January, February, and March, you're ready to go and you at least know what to expect.
The confidence is boosted and you know how the system is. You know what it's like to play in a packed, hostile environment like Moody Coliseum. And you're going to play against those big arenas like the GCUs and the New Mexico States of the world. Really good preparation for the team moving forward.
There is Cam Steele. He's going to come on out and around, and he is going to be our player of the game. And take Joseph's headset from him. We're going to chat with big number 5 in the gray uniform. It takes a while for them to get around. You see the team heading through the player tunnel and back into their locker room. And so Cameron Steele is our player of the game. 15 points here tonight. And we're pleased to be joined by the big fella. Cameron, congratulations, first of all, on the win here tonight.
Thank you very much.
Well, how did it feel? You know, after a couple of games, a couple of shots weren't going for you. Tonight they went for you. What felt different out there on the floor tonight?
Just, I think, confidence. First 2 games didn't really have a lot for some reason, and then stepping out here, had a lot of fan support, which was tremendous for us. And just getting in the gym past couple of days has really boosted my confidence.
You weren't maybe sure what to expect when you got here to Moody Coliseum this season. There's been this big build-up. You've been in here for 2 games now. How's it feel to be back in Moody Coliseum?
Oh, it's awesome. It is awesome. With the fan support, I mean, look at the court right here. There's dozens, hundreds of people here. So just, we're trying to be one of the best mid-major programs in the country, and it starts with the fans here. So
this first week and a half of the season, you get to play a little bit of everybody, right? Jackson State, great mid-major. Then you go up and play Texas A&M, play down a level here at McMurry. What do you feel like the team can take away from a game like this? Because almost everybody got out there on the floor and played minutes here tonight.
Yeah, I think it's just rewarding everyone for the work that they put in practice the past couple weeks, even month. And then one thing that Coach Tanner highlighted just this whole week ever since the Texas A&M game is concentrate on the first 4 minutes of the second half, because during the Jackson State game and the Texas A&M game, we didn't do well in the first 4 minutes, and that really dictated how the game went. I mean, Jackson State were up by 20, and all of a sudden it's a 5-point game because of the first 4 minutes, and then Texas A&M, same thing, 5-point game, and then it goes up to 20 just because of the first 4 minutes. So it's crucial for us to play well in those first 4 minutes.
Felt good to be back at home.
Definitely.
Appreciate it, Cameron. Thank you for joining us here.
Carl, I appreciate it.
In the post game. Cameron Steele, player of the game. 15 points for Abilene Christian tonight as we wrap it up. This has been a presentation of the Western Athletic Conference on ESPN. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. Until next time, Zach Carlisle, Joseph Chapa, Coy Oslin. So long. Take care. Good night from Abilene, Texas.